This is probably one of the most important aspects of building a long-term network marketing business. In fact, when I look back over my career, I think this was something that I immediately recognized. I started to think a little bit differently just moving forward, and I'm excited to talk about it because I think it'll impact you as well. And I think it's so important when you're building a business like this to have long-term vision, to put things in perspective, because here's the truth. Most people are not going to get rich quick. Most people are not going to build a business that grows fast, that makes them a lot of money fast. And even if it does, who cares if it all falls apart? The whole goal is to build what? Long-term residual income. So I need you to start thinking differently. That's first of all. So I built a multi-million-dollar business. It took me 7 years, again, thinking long-term, it took me 7 years to crack a full-time income in network marketing, 16 years to become a millionaire. So it's not get rich quick, it's get rich eventually. And by the way, when you think about the people that start a traditional business, why do they do it? For those of you that have owned businesses in the past, why do you do it? Why do you start your own business? Because you want freedom. You want to be your own boss. You want to have the opportunity, the chance to get wealthy. Because let's keep it real. Whether you start a restaurant or your own, construction company, or you start a network marketing business, like the upside potential of owning something, owning a business, making money even when you're not working, it can create freedom. It can create wealth. This is a willable, sellable asset, just like if I had a chain of restaurants, just like if I had a traditional business, but I don't have all the risks associated with traditional business, and neither do you. So what is it that we bring to the table? Since we're not bringing monies to the table, we're not investing a lot of upfront money. We don't have a lot of monthly overhead like a traditional business, but we have the same upside potential. But do you have the same mindset? Are you treating this business as if you invested $50,000? As if you invested $100,000? As if you invested your life savings? How would you show up every day? How would you show up every day if you put a second mortgage on your home, you maxed out your credit cards, you borrowed money from friends and family? Treating it like a real business is a big deal. And I haven't given you what I figured out. So all those years ago, I figured out, and this is actually a great example. There was this guy, Andy Rosenthal. I signed up Andy my first year. I was in this one company for 7 years. I signed him up 3 times. 3 times. I recruited him 3 separate times in 7 years. 3 times in 7 years. And you'd be like, why would he do that? You'd have to ask A-Ro that question. But the point is, him and I had a really great relationship. What I realized after that second time I signed up Andy, I remember literally thinking this, like, wow, I really need to start playing the long game. I need to think long term. You might say, John, why do you do all these free trainings? Why do you put out so much content for free? Why? Because law of reciprocity. Because I want to be a person of value. Because I want to leave an impact. I want to make a difference. I want to leave a legacy. But also, #attraction marketing. That's attraction marketing 101. You lead with value. You lead with building relationships. See, it doesn't matter if you have a personal brand if you don't connect with people on the back end. It doesn't matter if you create content if you don't connect with people on the back end. You've got to play the long game. Now, it was hard for me in the early days when my business wasn't growing, when my business was declining, when my business collapsed and I had to keep starting all over. It was tough to stay positive. It was tough to keep going and growing and sticking with it. You'd look back and you're like, everybody I recruited the last 90 days isn't with me in the next 90 days. Like the next 90 days, I'm going to have a totally different team than what I have right now. What is happening? Like it was so hard to think long term. But here's what I started doing. I started paying attention to those A players. I started paying attention to those people that had a lot of potential. Even if they quit, even if they went to another company, I maintained the relationship. You know what? Forget curiosity marketing, attraction marketing, even forget network marketing. You know what we're really in? You know what business we're in? It's relationship marketing. Do you know how many people over the years that I've enrolled, that quit, that went somewhere else and came back? Why? Because I maintained the relationship. Do you know how many customers order from me instead of someone else? Because I have a better relationship. Do you know how many people continue to follow us and promote us and share our stuff? Because they trust us. They know we have good intentions. They know we have integrity. They know we actually care about them and we care about what we're doing. And they continue to promote us. They've never even bought anything from us, but they share us with their teams. They share our stuff. They share our content because there's trust there. And I have a relationship. It's relationship marketing. If you're struggling in your business, you got to ask yourself, how many relationships are you nurturing? When you're connecting with someone, are you just trying to make a sale, make a buck? Do you have commission breath and it freaking stinks? That's part of the reason you struggle. And by the way, you shouldn't just be building relationships with leads. You shouldn't just be building relationships with customers. You should be building relationships with the people on your team. Why do you work so hard to create content, do TikToks and live videos and put out value and personal development, personal growth? You're working on yourself. You're working on your skills. You're buying courses. You work so hard to get people in your business. And then you're like, all right, got them. Next. You need to build relationships with the people that are on your team. I have incredible relationships with a lot of the leaders on my team. And you know what? Sometimes I'm the one reaching out to them, especially if it's a brand new person or a person that I really value, a personal recruit, whatever, like a leader on my team. Like I try so hard. Now it is hard when your team gets really big. I will admit that. It is hard when you have a lot of momentum, a lot of things happening, but relationships are everything. Right? The people with the best retention typically have the best relationships. Now, you also want to be careful because you don't want to get too familiar. That's the only challenge with getting to know people is that you sometimes become too familiar with them. And here's what I mean by that. I don't drink anymore. I quit drinking 14 years ago. I got sober. Back in the early days of network marketing, I used to party with my downline. And shockingly, they stopped listening to me. Shockingly, they no longer listen to my advice. Shocker. Right? Listen, write this down. If someone sees you with a lampshade on your head one time, all credibility out the window. I'm telling you, it's prime time. It is prime time for you to show up like never before. People need to hear your voice. They need positivity. There's so much doom and gloom on the news and in their news feed on social media. Like you need to be the light. In fact, you don't even have to be like, you don't have to be like some guru, some mentor. Just like make people smile. Just send out like 5 messages every day for the next week and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. I know things are a little crazy right now. I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. I hope you're blessed. Like just being a friend first and a marketer second. We've been saying this for years and years and years. Be a friend first and a marketer second. Be a mentor. Be a light. Be a person of value first. Be a salesperson last. In fact, you know what? The best salespeople don't even have to sell. I don't got to sell. You know why I don't have to sell? Because I lead with education. I lead with inspiration. I train. Education is the highest form of sales. Write that down. If you're not selling, you're not showing up as a person of value. You're in your little ball feeling like, oh, well, people are not spending money right now. Bull crap. How many of us spend money this week on Amazon? Meaning people are still going to buy things that they see value in. You need to figure out a way to stand out. Stop being so vanilla on your social media. Or stop selling all the time. In fact, I want you to reach out to 10 people today, 20 people today, and just reach out and just connect and say, hi, how are you? I was thinking about you. Why be Facebook friends with someone if you're never going to connect with them? Why have followers if you're never going to connect with them? Why have customers if you're not going to follow up with them? Why have leads and prospects if you're not going to stay in touch with them? You're struggling because you're not thinking about others. You're thinking about you. That's everything. That's it. Be better at relationship building. There's entire books on building relationships. There's entire courses on building relationships. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Become a great question asker. Listen more than you talk. Now, that's funny for me to say because I talk a lot, but still. Sometimes when you're in a conversation with a prospect, you feel like you're starting to sell. Pump the brakes. Pay attention to that intuition. Pay attention to your gut, your second brain. Pay attention because if your stomach tells you, if your gut tells you, if your intuition tells you, I feel like I'm starting to sell. I feel like I'm talking too much. You're right. And that's when you start asking questions. What would you like the next step to be? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10, you ready to get started right now? 1, you're a customer. Where are you at? I'm a 7. Awesome. What other questions do you have? What else do you need to know so that we can get you to a 10? Let them talk.